We're all here and we were joined by Henry Garrido, Bill Thompson, and Derek Hamilton. We all hail from the boroughs of Brooklyn, Manhattan, the Bronx, Staten Island, and Queens. We went to 21 following the 2020 protests that focused this city, focused the country and the world, focused our attention on systemic and structural racism. We went to work, and with a commission staff, we examined how the charter of the city of New York could be changed to begin to dismantle structural racism. Hearing from more than 3,000 New Yorkers about how racism has manifested in every pillar of our society: education, housing, healthcare, rights, law enforcement, political representation, and more. We heard from them how it affects their daily lives, and the commission then went to work to develop 3 proposals, all intended to advance justice and equity and ensure opportunity and access for all New Yorkers. These 3 proposals are now on the ballot, and beginning October 29th with early voting and election day, November 8th, New Yorkers will get to vote and decide. New York City is the first in the nation to directly put questions about whether and how New York City government can and should address racial justice and equity. We're the first to put it on the ballot. New Yorkers have a voice. New Yorkers have a voice in their vote. They get to say, we get to say, we get to decide. So what we're here to do is encourage New Yorkers, voters across New York City, and those who have voted to register to vote that are eligible to do so by October 14th. And when it comes time for election, to flip the ballot. People hear me saying, flip the ballot, flip it or you'll miss it, and then learn about the initiatives on the back and make your voices heard. Because we have an opportunity, an historic opportunity to shape the future of our city, and you need to say, so goes New York, so goes the nation. Now, we're not here to tell you how to vote. We're not here to tell you how to vote at all. We just want to make sure that you have the information you need so that you're informed, and then you can go about the process of making a decision about how you will cast your vote. So I'm joined here today by commissioners, by civic leaders, by elected officials. And the first one that I'd like to come to the podium is someone who we all can be extremely proud of. Whenever I'm in her presence, I feel inspired. I'm in awe of her because she represents in many ways what we're talking about: equity and justice. And she seeks to carry it out for everyone. I'm speaking of our speaker, our city council speaker, Adrienne Adams. She's the first African American to hold that position. She represents the 28th Council District, and she's the first woman elected to the district. Adams was first elected in 2017. She is the first African American to serve as our speaker. Speaker Adams.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much to my amazing friend, Jennifer Jones Austin, who continues to be an amazing leader for the city of New York. Good morning to everyone. It's great to stand here this morning with my colleagues and so many powerful advocates for our democracy. Thank you again to my good girlfriend, Jennifer Jones Austin, Chair of the Racial Justice Commission, President of the Federation of Protestant Welfare Agencies, for all the work that you do to make our city a better place. I also want to acknowledge that we are joined this morning by Congressman Adriano Espaillat, Assemblymember Natalia Fernandez, Comptroller Brad Landers, former New York City Council Speaker Melissa Mark Figueredo, Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala, New York City Council Member Farrah Lewis is here. And we all in the New York City Council say good morning to you. On November 8th, New Yorkers will head to the polls for Election Day to cast their ballots and fulfill their civic duty. is one of the most sacred and important components of our democracy that we cherish and that we all hold dear. After selecting your preferred candidate in this coming election, however, it is critical that all voters flip the ballot and also cast their vote on 3 ballot proposals. These ballot initiatives, developed by the Racial Justice Commission, established in March 2021, will change the city's charter to add a statement of values on equity to its preamble, establish a racial equity office, plan, and commission, and require the creation of a true cost of living measure in New York City to inform programmatic and policy decisions. This is unprecedented. This historic New York City Council, with the first ever women majority, has prioritized equity through our legislative, budgetary, and oversight capacities. I want to commend Jennifer once again, the Racial Justice Commission, and your entire team for the many months of extensive research, public feedback, and community outreach that you've been providing. I've actually had the opportunity to sit in and listen to some of the virtual sessions, and I have to tell you, I was really impressed with the ideas and suggestions from our fellow New Yorkers who participate in the process. New Yorkers have an opportunity to make a choice on these 3 important ballot proposals. We encourage people to learn about them in the days leading up to voting and election day, and make sure that you flip your ballot and vote on these proposals. It is clear that we have more work to do as a city to achieve equity and racial justice in New York City, from closing racial and gender pay gaps to increasing opportunities for all, ensuring equitable access to healthcare and education, and so much more. Your New York City Council will continue our work on behalf of all New Yorkers, and we're kicking off an effort to raise awareness about ballot proposals that New Yorkers will decide. Too often, there isn't enough public education given to voters, but we are proactively taking steps to ensure that is not the case for these ballot proposals. Today, we are encouraging all voters to head to the polls in November, and let's be sure to flip the ballot and vote on these very important initiatives. Thank you very much. Let's get out the vote. Thank you so very much for all of your support of the Commission's work and for helping us to get the word out. We are joined by Congressman Espaillat. He's the first Dominican American and first undocumented immigrant to serve in the United States House of Representatives. Espaillat represents the 13th Congressional District, which includes Inwood, Washington Heights, Upper West Side, and other neighborhoods. He's been here since 2017, but he's never left New York City. And we're glad that you're here with us for this moment. Thank you. Washington Harlem and East Harlem. And the Thank you. Racial justice and equity. That is critical during these times when the Supreme Court will again take up Voting Rights Act and affirmative actions, and will consider looking at the ability of states to pass their own voting suppression legislation. Municipalities and cities act on their own to protect equity and racial justice. And so, don't flip the house, flip the ballot. Flip the ballot and make sure that you take a look at this. These are questions that are before New Yorkers that this leadership is providing to strengthen the diversity of our city, to strengthen the opportunities that must be offered to diverse communities that make up this city, and eventually that make our democracy
stronger for all of us. Estamos aquí para asegurar que los votantes puedan voltear la boleta y tomar en cuenta el referéndum de 3 preguntas que le ofrece
la ciudad para fortalecer la democracia, para fortalecer la equidad y la justicia racial que ofrece esta ciudad para sus residentes. Por tal razón, todos a votar. I used to play baseball as a for that reason, don't flip the house, but flip the ballot.
Thank you. I like the sound of that. Next, we will hear from our controller, Brad Lander, who warned us about the opportunity to work with you years, and he centers very much on these issues as well. He's the big controller of the city. Previously served here in the New York City Council from 2009, where he represented Park Slope, Orem Hill, Prospect Heights, Prospect Records, thank you, among other areas. Controller Brad Lander.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's great to be here and with the speaker and former speaker, deputy speaker, some of the colleagues and the congressman, the panelists. Great representation. Thank you so many of the members of this great country for the hard work of these ballot issues. I'm here today to join the call to make sure to flip the ballot to help New York City forward. The congressman alluded to the fact that at the Supreme Court, there are always set people who try to take our country backwards. We have an image of the time when white folks were in charge. They didn't have to worry that much about racial justice or equity. We didn't have to worry about whether you were going to have women and people of color. Showed share of the time, and that set of folks believe that taking our country backwards will somehow do something. But what we know in New York City, the only way to move is forward. That has been true for New York City its whole history. The reason that we have a dynamic economy, the reason that our cultural life is booming and people want to come is that we center in considering justice. In the times where that statue stays in the heart of welcoming people. And then on the other side, we have to be better at actually making us a place where equality is made. And we got a lot of work to do in that direction. Look, we're lucky to be the place that asylum seekers from Venezuela and also refugees from Ukraine and from Afghanistan come to New York City thinking we can make a future life here. But then the question for us is, will there genuinely be opportunity for people of different backgrounds, schools, places of integration and inclusion, kids from Harlem and kids from the Bronx and kids from Brooklyn and kids from Southeast Queens have their energies tapped, their smarts brought forward and developed so that they become the leaders of tomorrow, like the folks who are standing there, not only in government, not only in community and nonprofits, but in our cultural life, in our economy. That is the way forward for our city. It's the way forward for our country. It's not forward for the world, but it also just likes plain common sense. So speaking as controller, worried about our economic and fiscal future, I will tell you a city that leads in social justice and equity is a city that will be more vibrant, that will have more economic value being created, that people want to keep coming to for decades and decades to come, and a city that puts in its charter that these are our values is then a city that you can hold accountable to those values. And part of what we're doing in the controller's office is saying, how do we hold ourselves collectively accountable? Well, it's a place to start. We already have a statement of values in your charter that says racial justice, that says equity, that says inclusion, aren't just afterthoughts. They are at the heart of the foundation of our charter in our city. An honor to get to vote for that this fall in November. So New Yorkers, take a look, flip that ballot, join and help move our city forward toward that diverse, equitable, inclusive place that we would all be so lucky to live. Thank you very much, all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Orlando. Next, we will hear from Assembly Member Fernandez, Natalia Fernandez. And she represents the New York State Assembly's 8th District. Her district is the Bronx, and includes Allerton, Cullen Gardens, and Morris Park, among other areas. I just talked about it. She's the Democratic nominee for the state Senate to the 34th District. Got it right.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, let's prepare to get out the vote. We are less than 30 days away now from Election Day, less than 20 from early voting. The time is now to start talking to your neighbors, to your friends, to your family. Make sure they have a plan. Make sure they know their candidates. If you live in District 34, that's me. But above all, we must know that there's always more on the back of that ballot, And like my congressmember said, we don't want to flip the house. We want to flip that ballot. The proposals this year are so important. The work done by this organization to get those proposals on that piece of paper has been astronomical. That is a success that we need to be happy about. But we can only celebrate that success when we vote on these proposals and see them turn into action. It's time that New York State continue to be the leader that it's been. I love to hear that New York is the first in this and the first in that, and we are leading the example. Let's continue to lead. Let's show that we can create a state and a country that recognizes everybody for what they've done, how they're living, and how they should be living. Let us bring equity to our communities. Let us bring equity to this country and this state. Flip that ballot and vote yes on our floor. The Environmental Bond Act will address a lot of the environmental racism that we've seen. To check the the income, the cost of living. I don't have the notes in front of me, but they're so important. Thank you. Thank you for giving the attention to this today. And please take this word with you from now to November 8th. Know your candidates, vote for them. Encourage your neighbors to vote. And tell everybody to flip the ballot and vote yes on all four. Thank you. When I say flip the ballot, you say ballot. Flip the ballot. Flip the ballot. When I say flip the ballot, you say ballot. Flip the ballot. Flip the ballot. Yes. We're also joined this morning by our Deputy Speaker, Diana Ayala. And she serves with the New York City Council as a representative of the 8th District and as the body's Deputy Speaker. Ayala succeeded Council Speaker Melissa Mark-Overito in representing the district, and she assumed her office in 2019. Please come forward. Good morning, everyone. There's not much to say. I want to align myself with the sentiments of my colleagues today. I want to thank the commission and I want to thank the Department administration for putting it together because I think it's an important commission and it's a conversation that is long overdue. This commission has been hard at work working with average New Yorkers that look like us, that represent our values to better determine the ways in which this city, our city, can be more equitable. We have 3 proposals that they've worked on that may speak to your heart, may not. This is really an opportunity for us to ensure that the public knows and understands that these proposals are on the floor, that this is an opportunity for you to decide whatever which way you want to participate in the writing, right? The construction of our city charter, the charter that mandates just about everything that we do every day. This is your opportunity as an average New Yorker to participate in the writing of that language. Thank you all for covering that. I think we're going to be hard at work the next 4 weeks. It's showing that this is an option, and we want to count on you. We count on your support to help us get that message out. So thank you very much. Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I just have to quickly share that you said something that was so important. You spoke about these proposals, the commission having come together, having been established by one Mayor Brazia. It continues its work, right, under our current Mayor, Eric Adams. And what's important is that by working with the charter, what the commission has done is to put forth proposals that actually survive in the administration. They live in perpetuity. So equity and justice is not whimsical. It's not at the hands of one particular administration or another. It becomes embedded in city government functions. So thank you for pointing that out, helping us to point that out.
We got just a few more people we want to hear from, and they're people who are in the community who can help us to appreciate what these issues look like and how these potential ballot proposals could impact people in their daily lives, and the importance of all New Yorkers being informed and voting. The first is I'm actually going to join first to our commissioner who's been focusing on issues of equity, and she's been working with the community. Our commissioner for the city of New York, Serena Shane, she is the commissioner for the Office of Equity established under Mayor Adams. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Racial justice is on the ballot this year, right? And so I have the privilege of leading the Office of Equity, which is focused on a number of equity-focused programs and initiatives that are meant to force a change. But change happens at multiple levels. That change which is codified in law, that change which is enacted by the people of our city, which is structural in nature, is important to make sure that we have a city that is fundamentally different. And so this fall, on the ballot, we have proposals that address what we value as a city, how we function as a city, and how we make decisions. And I encourage every New Yorker to first and foremost familiarize yourself with the ballot measures, right? And if you're so inclined also to visit the Racial Justice Commission and get the word out in the community, like go and vote, make a plan to vote, and make sure you tell your friends and your family and your neighbors to flip the ballot this fall. This is an unprecedented opportunity, and it's so critical that people get out and vote, that they're informed, they can make a decision this fall. And so I want to thank the Racial Justice Commission and all the commissioners and for listening to New Yorkers and calling for us ballot measures that will reflect what we've heard from New Yorkers. And I want to thank the Racial Justice Commission team, working in city government to really lift up this work and make sure that New Yorkers are educated, that they're prepared, and that they're mobilized this fall to get on the vote. So thank you. Commissioner. Sometime, right? Gotta get it going. Our next speaker is Alisa Velez. She is the Civic Engagement Coordinator at Puente, and she is managing the organization's canvassing and other activities. Since she's also managing Halloween events. So, maybe we can really do.
Good morning, everyone. At El Puente, we largely represent the Latino and Black communities on the south side of Brownsburg and Bushwick. These communities have been largely impacted by policies and caused their communities to be left with less green spaces, libraries, and resources that are needed for all of us to truly thrive. This election cycle, we at El Puente would love to see more than ever people register and come out to vote, especially on the ballot proposal in the back of the book. Voting is one of the most important ways to enact change that we want to see in our communities. Our politics should be a reflection of all of us. This day, on election day, we will be heard. If you're not registered to vote, please, you have until October 14th, so please register. It takes less than 5 minutes, and it's an easy way to enact the change you want to see in your community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have one more person here this morning, David Lee, who is with the League of Asian American Voters.
Thank you. Thank you, and it's great to be here today. The League of Asian Americans of New York, our mission is to bring the community closer to government, and government closer to our community. And this initiative today, our measure, is precisely what our organization would like to promote. Awareness of these things on the ballot. Our community could just rise. Back when they had the Chinese Exclusion Act, if they had to vote on that, one way or another, how much farther would we be? If we had the ability to vote something like Japanese internment, how much farther would we be? And so now, 20 years of being guilty of walking while Asian. Now we have the ability to do something about it with this ballot measure. So I encourage my community to go and vote. It's fastest going district voter registration that we've ever had. And second, flip that ballot. So we can see what you're voting for and other things besides candidates. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lou. There is one more. Sorry about that. Reverend Deborah Jenkins, program manager at Faith at Work.
Come on. I just got to. Good morning and thank you, Ms. Austin, Jones Austin, Speaker, Congressman and all of the elected and everyone who is here. I'm so happy to be working with the Racial Justice Commission, specifically in the Court of City section of the Bronx. I am working with young Black men who found it very interesting, these 3 ballot items, and are totally committed to them. And they are happy to go through the community to educate the community as to the importance of it. And I believe it is no secret or any coincidence that these young men jumped at the opportunity to help educate their community after years of struggle that we've come through as a city. So I believe that this is a worthy cause, that people would be anxious to flip the ballot to vote one way or the other for these initiatives, and we are hopeful that they will all vote yes, because our city needs to move forward cohesively as a unit unified around diversity that represents this entire city. And I believe that we can do it and do it together. So thank you for this opportunity to work with the Racial Justice Commission. Let's get it done on November 8th. Thank you, and God bless you all. My daddy taught me never to follow or preach at the podium, but I guess I didn't make good on that this morning. As we draw this to a close, I want to quickly share with you a very personal story that told me. When the commission began its work and reaching out to individuals and families, communities, thought leaders, subject matter experts, persons who've been at the work for many, many, many years, we it's time. It's time for this type of change. For so long, we've been building policies and programs which are good and can help people on a day-to-day basis. But if your foundation is flawed, then your policies and programs will get you but so far. So we set out to try to rethink the foundation. And I'll share with you that I used to serve here in City Hall. And after the proposals were put out, I had a conversation with someone who served with me here at City Hall. And this individual said to me, after learning about the proposals,
you know you could fail. I looked back at this individual and I said, no, if I feel that I've done my job to try to help New York go to a better place, I will not have failed. Well, if we don't educate people and help them to understand what is on the ballot, if people don't come out and make an informed decision, then New York will have failed. That's not fair. Thank you all. What do we need to do? When I say flip the, you say ballot. Flip the, flip the, flip the, flip the ballot. Thank you.